Welcome to another CGR lap of awesome here on Classic Game Room. This is the second one of these I recorded driving a Lamborghini Aventador on Spa, one of my favorite tracks in Gran Turismo 6. And I like this track in every game. I forget which game I first played it on, but I've always really enjoyed Spa for some reason. I just call it Spa. I forget what the full name is. Anyway, one of the things I've noticed about the THRUSTMASTER, which is what I'm using in this video, is that you get a real feel for the size of the car. And the Lamborghini it's a beautiful car. All the Lamborghinis are amazing from the visual standpoint, but they're like driving giant battleships. This thing is a tank, and it's extremely hard to control, especially once it really gets moving. And you really feel that through the wheel, through the THRUSTMASTER, and all these videos are part of this giant THRUSTMASTER review, which I've really enjoyed that wheel. I've had a couple people actually ask me about it, if it's a good wheel for the PS4, and yes, yeah, it works for PS3 and PS4. Anyway, this race is actually pretty tricky. I get a pretty good lead by the second lap. It's a 3-lap race, so the third lap is actually kind of I play it safe on the third lap, so it's not as exciting. And sometimes if I'm driving a car which is really easy to drive, like a GTR or something, I'll just try to run all the other cars off the road. But in the case of the Lamborghini, it's really easy to spin out. So I'm playing this one for real, and it's not particularly easy to catch up to everybody, pass them, and then hold a lead, because even if I have a good lead and I spin out and the car flips backwards, I could lose it, and I don't want to lose it. I want to win this so I can get some money to buy some new cars, because a lot of you on the internet and on Twitter are suggesting some cars and tracks to drive, which I think is kind of fun, so I'm doing that. And I've got, obviously I have a bunch of the ones I like the El Camino and the Skylines and the GTRs and stuff, but I'm trying to actually complete the rest of the races in Gran Turismo 6. I got right up to the end, and then like usual in Classic Game Room, ended up having to table the game for a bit to play other games, but I'm having fun going back into GT6 and just tearing it up with this wonderful new wheel, the THRUSTMASTER T300RS. And of course, thanks to Kelvin from Cuba, Missouri, for sending that insanely generous gift to the show. And what are we getting onto here? Lap 2. All right, now this is the one where I'm going to pull ahead. And I don't play with all of the assists on. Some people I've noticed have sent me messages, chastising me for playing with all of the assists. I play with the lightest setting of I think I want to say traction control and braking. So I do tend to brake late on everything. If I turn off all of the braking assists completely, then I have to brake much earlier, obviously. And Lamborghini's got pretty nice brakes, and it's insanely fast. So passing cars on the straightaway is no problem here. It's just keeping the lead and not spinning out, which is the tough part. So I got one more car here to pass. And I know this track pretty well, so if you keep watching these videos, you'll notice the tracks which I've memorized, I'm pretty aggressive on, like this one. And the ones that I don't know as well, I'll take more cautiously. But let's see, there's a Skyline here in front of me. What I should do is carjack that thing, add one more to my collection. But I'm going to pass him, and like usual, just give him the finger. As I do that, when do I pass? Do I do it now? Yep, there it is, on the straightaway. And again, this car is a brick. And the THRUSTMASTER has a lot of force feedback. So I noticed that when driving the Aventador here. And what else? I was driving something else last night, which was a really big car, and it feels twice as large. The cars feel twice as large as something much smaller and easier to control, like one of the Skylines or something, for example. Like one of the X-Bow or whatever those cars are. Those are just so light and nimble, and they feel great with the wheel. It's like a totally different experience than when you're playing with the controller. You can control the larger cars easier with the controller, I think. Once you get the wheel hooked up, you've really got to wrestle this thing, especially the giant Lambo here. So I'm building my arm muscles as I play Gran Turismo. I will look like Van Damme circa 1992 in no time. So that means I need to grow my mullet back. I used to have a mullet back in the early 90s. Had a good one. Sort of feathered it out sometimes on a jean jacket. Oh yeah. Just when you thought I wasn't stylish, I go and prove that I am. Alright, one last lap here. As I'm drinking coffee out of my Star Wars mug this morning. I was racing last night. What was I doing? The GTR on... Oh, I love this part of the track here. The way that I drive that normally is to come down there as fast as possible and then take my foot off the gas and just roll through it until I get to that part where it swings back left and then hammer down on the gas and then explode down the straightaway. Now, whenever I hit that one, I think it's somewhere in between the 100 and the 200 sign, I'll slam on the brakes there and then gently come through these two turns, swing off to the right here and then accelerate hard. Watching this next turn, but the hard part of Spa is either that that downhill turning part, which I just went through earlier, or the very end when it's really easy to slide off the track with those double lefts. Love the cockpit of the Aventador here. They're such great looking cars. I love these Lamborghinis. I don't have one in real life. I really don't even know what I would do with one. Probably just park it and admire it. Be too scared to drive it anywhere. I don't think I'd fit in it very well anyway. Seen them at car shows. I tend to like SUVs. Actually, I like bigger cars. Alright. Keeping my lead. But this, again, this isn't the most exciting driving for me because I'm actually struggling to hold it. So I'm playing a little bit safe here. I'm not using these super duper soft tires. So the car is a little slippery. And the Lamborghini has a lot of power. So this thing is easy to just shoot right off the track or spin off. One more right here. And then exploding down the last part of the track here. And it's easy to lose it on one of these two turns. The first one's pretty gentle. So I'm just going to do a wide sweeping left. Then the next one I do have to apply the brakes. Now if I overshoot this one, there's a bit of a safety. There we go. See? A bit of a safety cushion there on the right. And then hit that thing and throw on the brakes. You got two right-hand turns here. Or sorry, one right-hand turn and a sharp left. I think that other car is going to try to pass me on the inside, but normally I would have probably, if I had been playing a little more aggressively, that guy wouldn't have caught up to me. But there we go. Victory at hand, thanks to the Thrustmaster and Lamborghini Aventador. If you're going to buy the game anyway, buy it through ClassicGameRoom.com. Classic Game Room is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Now prepare for the Lord Carnage Club, where I celebrate these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano! Derek Langley. Beer is the trick. Steven Chucknick. From New Jersey. Michael Fernandez. People not named Michael Fernandez aren't Michael Fernandez. Al Stiver. Woo! EDM! Jason from British Columbia. Philip Strabenmuller from Vienna, Austria. Cue the thunder. Jeff, Captain Dauntless, Briar. Cue the lava. I don't know what lava sounds like. It sounds like this. Jack Stavris from Australia. Ohad Kane, Master of Thunder. Chip Sankvale, Fighter of Space Bees. Woo! Rick DeBarros gets the extra disco. Michael and Ariana Nelson, Fighters of the Future. That's enough disco, because now it's time to shout, Busy Signal! That's right, and keep the volume loud and the party rocking for Sean Zoltek. Really? No. Sean Zoltek! Sergio Matthias Hergert! Tubular. Will.